All right. Okay. All right. So I think we're live. Hopefully everyone can hear us. It says I'm live. Okay, 17 seconds. Hi everyone. I'm here with Sian Lewis, who has invited me to her home for reasons.
For reasons.
So we're glad for you all to join us here today. We're going to be talking about advanced AI strategies, exploring beyond GPTs, right? So just understanding and getting to know a little bit more about AI, because everyone's throwing this name out there, where it's an umbrella name, right? So we're trying to make sure that we educate people on this umbrella name so that you are able to empower yourselves to talk and articulate exactly what it is that you want from an engineer, from a data scientist, because you have to, if you're a business owner, or even if you're just a leader, understanding how to get what you really need through strategy, through conversation, and not just say that you want AI and ML. Like that's a boring. It's kind of getting, like this kind of cookie cutter term, right? Like I say with people that call each other friends nowadays, right? I say that a lot. Like people use that word friend very loosely. And so we don't want you to use AI and ML loosely. We want you to be able to educate. So these series that I'm doing monthly is about being able to do that. So I have Sian Lewis here, who I think is a part of Black history because she's done so much in data science that has been, I think, very impactful with various industries like the political industry and some other things that she'll talk about. We were just talking about like, why did you choose data science? Like, I like data for different reasons, but I definitely want to hear why you chose data science.
That's a very fine question, which I don't know if I can answer, but I'll try.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sian. I don't think I chose data science. I think I was born a data geek. I think it chose me. Every job I've ever had and every project I've ever done, even back to school, I've tried to turn into a data and fact finding project. I'm the kind of kid who used to sit around and read the almanac to learn about facts and figures just for funsies.
To read the what act?
The almanac or the encyclopedia,
Oh, okay.
right? Just for fun, just to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And every job I had, literally every single thing I've done as an adult, has been in pursuit of learning and understanding patterns in order to make better decisions. So that's really why I chose it. A long time ago, I read a book called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, who's a tech guru, and he wrote a really cool book, a philosophical book.
Mm-hmm.
But he said very plainly that in order to build wealth, make a big impact on the world, you can either build a company, have children, plant a tree, write a book, or build something, right? And in the modern era, the thing that has the highest impact is to build a code, an app, or some kind of programming-based project that will impact people's lives in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So, after I read that book, I was like, I know a lot about math and stuff, but I really want to be able to code, to build things that I have in my mind. So I switched from being a mathy person, an activisty person, into a person who can actually build and implement things that I want to see, and also the things that clients want to see. That's it.
Okay. So impact. I heard lots of that.
Impact.
Right?
Yes.
Because data does have impact.
Yes.
And numbers tell a story.
They do.
Right? And so you like that story that the numbers tell, and the impact it has.
Yes. But more than that, you can make numbers tell any story.
That's true. Right? That is true.
People use stats and stuff to lie all the time or justify things all the time.
Which is a good point.
Right? But I like looking for patterns.
Correct.
Right? And using those patterns in order to make a next best step for myself or for our business.
But you make a good point, right? Because, and we're going to get into strategy, but I'm going to kind of, navigate this towards that. Numbers, people use numbers and statistics to lie all the time. Right? Because you can manipulate numbers,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is how probably AT&T system went down yesterday. Just saying, right?
So funny. I was on this really important call yesterday, and at this crucial moment, boop, phone goes off. It's crazy,
right? So it's probably somebody manipulated someone's MAC address, whatever.
Yeah,
Who
knows? Who knows?
But with that, because my curiosity around this is my own personal question, is like, if numbers can be manipulated for the reason of people playing with them or whatever, how can you find patterns? Is that where the bias comes from?
Well, yes and no, which is a typical data scientist type answer. The answer is always, it depends. All right. Every question you're going to ask me today, it depends. Right. So, people, I always think that people inherently are trying to do good for themselves or for the world. And any bias that is based, and any numbers-based bias is just, people, again, trying to do good for themselves or for the world, right? But numbers themselves can tell a story that is inaccurate. Right? I often give this example, a great example. I'm looking at my soapbox, y'all. A great example of this is in the criminal justice system. So, algorithms are used to help judges and anybody who is making a judiciary determination decide how long someone should go to jail or prison for, if they should go to jail or prison, and what kind of fine they should pay and such. Like, algorithms are used for all of that. And you can see a person in front of you, and their stats tell you a thing, right? And judges will do what judges do, or judiciary determinants, they do what they do, and they make a decision, and that's that. However, it's been proven many times, all the way back in 2014 with our good friends at ProPublica doing a really good investigation, that having a Black person and having a non-Black person in front of a judge, and having a Black person and having a non-Black person being assessed by an algorithm, things are not going to turn out too well for a Black person, right? Because the numbers themselves exist, but they are biased by historical context, by larger systems, and Black people, no matter what, are judged very, very, very harshly and over penalized in this country. Just as an example.
Yep. And so the reason why I'm starting out with why you're a data scientist and getting that to strategy around AI and ML, for those of you who want a better, vocabulary around, this topic, this umbrella topic, is because it starts with data science, right? Like, you can't do AI and ML without the foundation of data, right?
Foundation of data.
Aggregated data.
Sure. I'm going to get on my soapbox. So artificial intelligence is an umbrella term, and the term is essentially, we're trying to program a computer to do what a human would do, which is make decisions and become intelligent, take information around it in order to make decisions in a way that makes sense to us, right? It's artificial intelligence. Machine learning, which is what I spend a lot of time doing. Machine learning is subset of that, but it actually isn't. It's the other way around, but we're not going to get into that today. Machine learning is, again, you're trying to find patterns by programming a machine to learn, right? Data science is one of those terms that at this point means nothing. Doesn't mean anything. Lots of people call themselves data scientists. They don't know anything about data or science. But data science, from where you're thinking about it, most people think about it, is a person who programs a computer to learn, right? And eventually to become intelligent.
Right. And so tell us a little bit about those topics underneath the AI umbrella, without machine learning, just AI.
There's lots of topics under it. So, AI is all the rage in the last year and a half, 2 years. I've been talking about this for many years. Artificial intelligence, most people think is, like I said, thinking a computer is going to become human, and most people think it's going to run amok and kill you, right?
Transformers.
Transform and kill you. Right? Or Hal's going to kill you.
Correct.
2000 movie. But what it really is, if you're using ChatGPT, or you've heard about ChatGPT, which is the first commercial project to take over the world, more or less, lots of people are using it. Essentially, is a bunch of machine learning algorithms that learn, and it has learned from what it can find in the public sphere, like on the internet. And you type a question in, and it can give you an answer or help you generate a new answer. So there's a branch called generative AI, which is what ChatGPT does, which is it helps generate new things, or take your old information to create something better than what you had before. Generative AI, again, it's just machine learning, y'all. Okay, it's just machine learning. But it helps predict what the next word or phrase should be. If it's making an image, it helps predict what the next pixel should be, right? And all of that comes together to make a thing for you. Generative AI is pretty cool. And the reason why it's really popular right now is because companies like NVIDIA and AMD and ARM have been able to make chips that are big enough to do the computation.
Correct.
Back in the day, it was limited by the chips. Once the chips got hefty and such, then you can actually run the computers, do the compute that you need in order to generate. So these two things happen at the same time. But actually, AI has been around forever. But making really efficient chips has not been around forever.
Exactly.
And once that happened, once NVIDIA got to the point, then we see it proliferate to the world.
Right. Yes. That is key to know.
That's
right?
key to know.
It's because there's classical AI, right, which is basically algorithmic based, right? So you just have these algorithms that go through and kind of make decisions, like a decision tree, right? But now what we have are these larger machines, because like you do that, right? Because it has the bandwidth, as the memory, and all that in there. But with these larger machines, you have the decision base. But it's just fast.
Much faster.
Right?
Yep. And
then it holds a lot of memory in order for you to say, oh, I learned this.
Yep.
So now I'm going to take from this decision and then morph another node or more information from that decision that was made.
Exactly. That's it. So, with generative AI, people use ChatGPT, to help them write emails and to help them write copy for their LinkedIn profile, or to help them write their research paper for school. A lot of that.
Just say something nice.
A lot of homework.
Yeah, those emails where you're just like, those emails where people are like, what's that term that people say? Like, it's like, prior to my as per my previous email,
yes,
right? So now if you put in ChatGPT, it's more like, let's soften that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Right, so it can help you generate that. It can help you generate images, help you generate now video, help you generate things that people didn't think you could generate before. But really, you could do it before, but you just didn't have the computational power to do it.
Right. And so, is it also the level of having enough data to be able to do this from? Right.
Yes and no. So let me talk about small businesses, because I have a lot of experience helping small businesses determine what they should do and actually implement what they should do with their data /AI. 99.9% of small businesses do not need AI. People, no, that's a blanket statement. But what people really are looking for is automation.
Yes.
Right? So automation and AI are not exact.
Correct.
The same. AI is a type of automation, right? So they're just looking to automate things for yourself. And you don't need to pay some fancy AI engineer to do that. There are a lot of no-code platforms that can help you automate things. If you want to, automate your the way you're talking to customers you have, you can do that without having to hire anyone. You just get a Zapier account and go nuts, right? I always want to differentiate between the difference between automation and AI, because a lot of folks spend a lot of money that they don't need to spend in order to reach an automation goal, and not necessarily an AI goal. Right? And you also have to determine what is automatable and what is AI-able versus what isn't. So people in general are very messy, right? Therefore, any data we collect is very messy. I have never been anywhere, even the fanciest of places, where the data that people collect is complete, anyone can make sense of it, or it's consistent. That never happens. You always have a bunch of messy data all over the place.
True.
Sometimes people collect all kinds of data, gigabytes, terabytes of data, but they don't know what to do with it. So, I always want people always to differentiate between what is information versus what is actually data, right? So information is just, here's Melissa. Melissa's wearing glasses. What can I do with that fact? The information is that Melissa is here wearing a lovely pair of frames, right? But if I can't take that knowledge and turn it into something, right? If I'm not selling frames, if I am not selling lenses, then this information makes no sense to me, right? But people collect that kind of stuff. If you can take information and turn it into something to help you make a decision, that is data, right?
Impact.
Right. So one of the first things I always do with companies is to help them understand what they have, which is information, versus what they have, that is data, that they can use to make a difference, make a decision, or to measure impact, right? That's step number one. I've talked to, so many businesses. Everybody has a HubSpot or a MailChimp or something, right? They have all this stuff. But unless you can actually use the information that's being collected to make better decisions for MailChimp, for instance, unless you can use what people click on and what links that they find desirable, or what kind of content you send that makes people unsubscribe, unless you can use that information, then it's just
data.
Unless you can use that data, it's just information. Right? So I help organizations differentiate between what's information versus what's data, and then I help them understand what they want to measure and how they want to go about it. So I can build for many organizations. They want, once ChatGPT came out, last year, the one's like, I want my own ChatGPT. Because, I can't put my information into ChatGPT. It's not safe. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot put your proprietary information in ChatGPT. It is not safe.
Correct.
People like me spend all day for funsies extracting information that you have put into ChatGPT voluntarily. I do it all the time. And if you build some kind of ChatGPT automation or an action GPT or anything like that, your own chat GPT that you publicize and such, I love to spend time cracking it and pulling out the source data, right, from it. I have learned so much. Guys, thanks so much for that. But really,
so not only a data scientist, but a slash hacker.
I wouldn't call myself a hacker, but please don't put anything proprietary or anything super important that you wouldn't want some stranger reading into ChatGPT. All right, don't do it. Don't do it. The good folks at Samsung learned this the hard way. The people at Twitter learned this the hard way. Now X, learned that the hard way. Right, just don't do it.
So a part of the strategy that you're referring to for small businesses is one, to understand their data, understand the difference between data and information, and how they're collecting it, and what are they collecting to see what's of value, so that they can turn it into something. And most of the times, it's not necessarily to just, because the word on the street now is AI and ML. It's not to just jump to AI and ML.
No,
what are the steps? Like, let's say, because I'm such a big proponent of talking to organizations and saying, stop thinking about today and think about 15 years from now. So Absolutely. What are the strategies, a roadmap for a small business that may come to you today and say, I think I need AI and ML? What is the strategy to get them there? Maybe not today, but in 5 years or whatever.
Sure. Most businesses are in pursuit of really a couple of things. They're either trying to increase your revenue, or decrease your non-revenue, whatever you want to call that. People call it various things. Losses, right? Grow your customer base. People say, I want to grow my customer base, but actually what you want to do is increase your revenue, right? Right? Say, I want to have 10,000 employees and have 100 locations across the world. Great, in pursuit of increasing your revenue, right? Oh, I want to go from being a business to actually having a company. I don't want to be involved with my business anymore. I want other people to run it. It's great. So you're in pursuit of growth, revenue, and actual maturity growth.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things that people, generally speaking, are after. They tell me it 1,000 different ways. They want to have this impact and that impact and the other impact, but what it comes down to really is you want more money, right? And you want someone else to run it eventually, so you're freed up to do another thing, right? That's
I want to be independently wealthy.
Yes, there you go. There you
Right.
go. You want to be independently wealthy. All right. So in order to do that, everything that you do in your business has to be in pursuit of those two things, right? Plain and simple. Is mail then? So then a person like me will help you to determine: is sending out all these MailChimp emails, is that helping you grow your revenue? Is it actually helping you build your customer base? Looking at the content of what you're putting out there, is that which content is helping you grow your revenue slash grow your mature your company, right?
Content, information.
Content, yeah. Which markets, this is so important, which markets should you actually be in, right? What is your niche that can help you get to the revenue or get to the maturity level so that you can be independently wealthy?
Yeah.
A lot of folks, when it comes to, building software, you're either building software that works really well in one very small niche that does just the one or two things, or you're building software that's awesome, that goes across all the different industries, right? You're either, I was think of it like you're either building a Meta slash Facebook that appeals to everyone. You got Facebook, you have Meta, which is one company. It's got Facebook, it has Instagram, it has WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
They're using that to talk. Most of the world is using it, right?
Yeah.
90+% of the world is using it, except for the folks in China. Those are the only ones who are not using it, right? but 7 out of 8 billion people, right, have access to it.
Yeah.
So that's one company that's going across, right, appealing to a mass amount, or you're just focused on one super niche area. And essentially, you can look at your data from the past, your actual data from the past, to help you determine what you should be doing, what you should be saying, what you should be building, what you should not be doing, saying, or building. It's just that simple.
And so you help organizations
Yeah.
pretty much look at that. So look at their data, determine what information it may be that it may have, and then what strategies that they can put behind that in order to make the data work for them.
Correct.
Right. One of the other things that I like to always talk about is monetizing data.
Oh, yes. Monetizing data itself.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, data is an asset.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that. The majority of people in the world, especially in the business world, don't realize that. If you're a small business owner, the actual data that you have is an asset. And if you, for instance, are going to sell your company or trying to get private equity or if you're starting off and trying to get VC funding, it's a huge asset. And a lot of people leave it off or even think about it as something that you put on the balance sheet.
But you can't. I didn't think you could put it on the balance sheet.
You can.
How can you put this on the balance sheet? The last time I asked somebody, they told me I couldn't put it on the balance sheet.
All right, cool. So it's a new thing. In the last couple of years, people have actually been acknowledging data as
really?
an asset.
Because this is brand new.
Yeah. No, it's not brand new.
For me.
I have a friend who just did this. She just did this.
Yeah.
Went through this process and helped her through it. So there are actually formula in the world that can help you determine how much your data is worth. And data is worth sometimes a lot of money, sometimes not, right? But the financial formula, they do exist.
Yeah,
they are there. Right? Google search to find it for your particular industry. It's a lot easier if you're in consumer and packaged goods, CPG.
Right.
Not as easy.
Makes sense.
It's not as easy when you are in that, but You still can.
Yeah.
I recommend you. It's a worthy pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the last time I asked was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because the whole point was, I think back then, Amazon couldn't put their data on their balance sheet, or they just did. It was one or the other. Something about their data that they couldn't, or they did, or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. Right? Because my whole thought is data, and anybody who knows me knows I love properties, right? So data is going to be just as profitable as property.
I agree. In fact, I think it's more profitable than property right now. I think it's, they say data is the new oil, it's the new gold, it's the new electricity, it's the new thing. But it's everything.
Right.
It's everything. Like, even before this new AI age, and even before all this, like when you bought and sold a company, people were buying not the company itself, but they were buying the company, and they were buying your customer base, they were buying, your reputation, they're buying their brand, all that stuff. All this stuff is worth money. They're buying all the things, right? All that is data based.
Yep. Yeah. No, this was very helpful. I hope everyone got a lot out of it. Like, I don't know how to, look at questions at the same time with this at all. Usually I have somebody on my team helping me, but today, people have lives, so I got to let them have their life. You know what I mean? But if you have questions, please let us know. Please continue to chat with us, or if you want to reach out to Sian directly, or myself, or whomever, or whatever. But I'm so grateful. Thank you for the short conversation.
Thank you.
Very insightful. I think letting people know that there's impact, that, don't put everything in your chat GPT.
Don't do it.
All your proprietary information.
Yeah.
And that there's strategies for small business to learn more of the language outside of just AI and ML. Like, there's other things for them to think about, like the prediction and what their data looks like, and automation and so forth.
Yep.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for welcoming me in your home. Till next time, good people. We will chat next month. Have a great February.